Hello there, and welcome to the Feats and Fables 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons streaming game just for adventurers like you. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts just by searching for Feats and Fables. If you want to watch us live and chat with us, join us on Twitch from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday nights. I'm Paige Lightman. And I'm the DM of this group. I'd like to welcome you to Aglarond, a peaceful, pastoral land of half-elves. Our heroes are part of the Foresters, elite scouts and rangers charged with defending Aglarond's borders, particularly against the evil, fascist nation of Thay. Currently, our heroes are heading out from Fortress Glarendar into the mountains. So let's meet our heroes. We have Victor Toussaint, a human eldritch night fighter played by Ron Frankie.
On to the next challenge.
We have Wildfire, a fire genasi evoker played by Joe Streaky.
I have this many hit points.
You only need that.
You only need the one.
You only
need the one. It's fine.
We have Rhass, a lizard folk totem barbarian played by Coda of Codab Games.
Hello, everyone.
Then we have Mira, a water genasi circle of the land druid, a seamount druid, played by Dr. Andrew Wong.
We are going to get eaten alive out there.
Is that your professional biological opinion?
Absolutely.
And last but not least, the heart and soul of the team, the hero who always has a wall beside them, Silvio, a Satyr College of Eloquence bard played by Ben Heisler.
Bonjour! I do not know what all of you are talking about. I have all 45 of my hit points.
I think that makes you the tank.
As long as there is a wall nearby, I will stand tall and fierce for my comrades.
So previously on Feats and Fables, Victor had led the team in a desperate defense of Fortress Glarendar while Wildfire chatted with an old friend in the afterlife. Eventually, the forces of Aglarond eked out a Pyrrhic victory that leaves some dear friends in grave condition and others dead. The team, after a heated discussion, decided to leave Fortress Glarendar in the middle of the night, despite their extremely tattered state, to forestall any further Thayan attacks.
I still think it's a good idea, personally, so...
Yes.
I mean,
Come, let us away. There's a cozy copse of trees just 2 to 3 hours to the north that's got our name on it.
So, Rhass is going to approach this beast of burden wearily, as he still does not entirely trust these horses.
To be fair, the horses don't really trust you either.
But he will hitch up the stretcher that currently his goose is laying on, and will make sure that it is secured and not going to cause undue distress.
She is anxious and wiggly, trying to get out of it.
And no, you need to rest tonight. You are hurt. So stay. And I'll kind of strap her down just securely enough. I mean, I can't acid-proof any of it, so...
Fair. The Blackguard Drake seems to settle down a little bit, but you can tell that is a limited time option.
I'm doing the best I can here.
So we get on horses and we head probably roughly northwest along the watch wall?
Yeah, I mean, I've acquired all of our travel gear, some climbing kits, some adventurous kits, enough food for our travels, and it's all in the bag of holding. So I think we're ready to go.
Yep.
Now
I
that
mean,
our
you're
horses have
already out of
arrived.
the forest,
Yeah.
or out of the fortress. My question is, are you cutting straight across the grasslands to the Shivar path, going directly north? Or are you going to go kind of northeast along the watch wall and by Umbergoth to get to the Shivar Pass?
I think we'll be less likely to be detected if we go cross country. I believe the plains is relatively easygoing.
Mira is going to pull out the map book,
I take the map book out and hand it to Mira.
consult it. She's going to be like, you would think that, but she's going to examine the latest information.
All right, what are you trying to learn or find out or determine?
I'm trying to find out I'm trying to discern what the path that will not get us killed is.
So
Ooh,
that-
very nice.
that is a really difficult fitness program or fitness function to program into the AI here.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, like, I can't give you information about which path is less likely to get you killed. That is just not how that works. But the book can give you some pros and cons of various paths. If you head directly north through the grasslands, it's a little faster.
Right.
The terrain is smoother, so it's less difficult on the horses. But you're out literally in the middle of nowhere. And it's not just grasslands, it's grass and copses of trees kind of mixed in together. However, if you go to the northeast along the watch wall, you're literally walking right next to a wall that's like 50 foot high, maybe 40 foot high, and 10 feet wide. And every quarter mile, it's got a little encampment of foresters on it watching, making sure nothing comes in out of the Umber Marshes, like a zombie army from Thay. So you have sort of forester support if you head along the watch wall. Then you can go across the foothills of Umbergoth into the Shivar Pass. The foothills are rougher terrain. The watch wall is all very smooth terrain. But the foothills are rougher terrain, so it's a little harder on the horses, takes a little longer. On the other hand, not a whole lot of people live in those mountains. There's occasionally foresters and farmers and who knows what herders out in the grasslands, which are pretty far from the next town of any real size.
So if we stuck near the watch wall for most of the trip, what fraction of the trip could we spend near the watch wall?
Somewhere between a third and a half.
How much faster is it to go by the grasslands than to go directly, then go along the watch wall?
So if you go directly through the grasslands, it'll probably be 4 days travel. If you go along the watch wall and along the Umbergoth, it'd probably be like 6 days travel.
How much harder will we be to find if we take one of many paths through the plains as opposed to sticking reliably close to the watch wall?
That is a rhetorical question, I assume.
Yes, it is.
So, but on the other hand, given how many days this is, if we can catch a long rest relatively near the watch wall on the first night, then we'll be in much better shape to face the rest of this journey.
I agree with Mira. Perhaps if we ride out to one of the encampments along the wall, then from there head across the plains to the pass.
That seems like a reasonable compromise.
If the Thayans find us before we long rest, they'll kill us. Our goal should be to long rest, the place they're least likely to find us.
Are they more likely to find us at one of the camps than out in the open?
I guess that's the question.
At least at one of the camps, we would have allies there rather than just being out on our own.
And it's a big honking wall. There are certainly flying or corporeal undead will have no problem with that.
Not that they would have problems with that if they were coming at us on a plane anyways.
I would feel much safer with a a wall to my back than without.
You know, I cannot argue with the power of having a wall nearby. It is a sound strategy, I must say. It has gotten me this far.
Prove
But listen, as
You may have a point of inspiration, sir.
Aha!
The first
you're
inspiration
commanding-
is way. Woo!
since you're commanding this unit, Victor, you may choose any path that you wish. I'm just simply here to try and maybe help you to keep pushing air for longer.
I do like to push air. Well, it's important to keep morale up. I suppose we can huddle by the wall for the first stretch of our journey, if everyone's unsettled from the attack in Clarendar. So that is what we shall do.
Okay. You head out along the watch wall about every, I don't know, quarter mile or so. There's a camp of maybe, I don't know, 5 foresters. Or sometimes even less than that, sometimes as few as 3, who kind of go in different shifts. It's a big, long piece of logistics to determine who's on what point on the watch wall. But they all call out to you in the night, unless you're specifically trying to hide from them, and give sign and countersign just to show that everybody's awake, okay, and on the same team.
Oh yeah, we definitely don't want to get shot.
I mean, I get my little spotlight attachment onto the badge that Perrin gave me that says, "Do not shoot me, I'm one of you."
How long do you travel?
We'll travel probably 3 hours or so, unless something happens.
Nothing happens. You are unmolested. The quiet singing of crickets is an accompaniment to your horse's hooves, and the jingle of your tack and harness.
All right. Then I guess we will begin taking a long rest in one of the aforementioned camps.
I do enjoy long rests.
Oh my god.
The foresters there have heard of the attack on Clarendar and press you for stories. But after that, they point out that you're welcome to rest, and in fact, they'll watch while all of you sleep.
It's prudent for us to keep our own watches, and there's no real downside to it. So
Fair enough. So dawn comes, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours later, and you can continue your long rest as peaceably as you like.
Okay, I'm hitting the button. Are you sure? Should I hit the button page?
Is there a dawn button?
Well, I'm gonna tell my character sheet to reset unless Paige has other plans. Here it comes.
I got nothing, and for the record,
Nope, it's too late. I already hit the button. You can't take it back.
I'm not taking it back. I'm just saying that last fight was on y'all. That was not me. That was you.
This is entirely
Concur.
true. Self-inflicted
Concur.
is the worst.
I stand by. It was the right course of action.
You're the one who paid the worst for it, so...
And the last fight was more or less a success. We unearthed the Thayan plot.
Mhm.
Um,
I do dislike Thayans.
we did lose more civilians than ideal, but unfortunately we are at war.
I mean, they had all of those undead ready to go. I mean, the longer we waited, the worse it was going to get. So,
That is true. And civilians make great undead.
That is a disturbing notion, Victor.
I know. That's why we fight every day, to stop things like that from happening. Especially to innocents. So, is everyone healthy and hearty? Had a good breakfast cooked over a little stove? Feel brave enough to go cross country at this point?
Oopsie, sorry. Didn't mean to click on that.
Whoa!
Do we have
the
tiny
tiniest
huts
of
now?
huts.
I mean, I would have a tiny hut in like 6 hours if I scribed it.
Womp womp.
Well,
That is indeed a womp womp, as it's a ritual. So once you get it there, you're good to
Yep.
go. Well, we do not have 6 hours, and your time was well spent anyway, helping the Griffins out.
Yep.
So no regrets there.
Yep, none at all.
And if we get hit with a blizzard or something, maybe you'll burn your scroll. I really hope we don't get hit with a blizzard.
It is the middle of summer, so while it is certainly unlikely, except at the very highest reaches of Umbergoth, it's not impossible.
you sure you did just put out that Blizzard-themed adventure that we could just happen to wander into?
Almost like it's into the
Frozen North?
I see what you did there. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to spend some time in the morning just reapplying Goose's bandages and making sure that I'm all set.
So, Goose, as you are reapplying bandages, grabs the roll of bandage out of your hand with her teeth and takes off running, unrolling the bandage behind her.
I will give chase after her, and I'm going to... Oh, God, I can't tackle her to the ground. That wouldn't work. Okay, I'm going to curl up the bandage as I'm running and fashion it into almost like some sort of lasso. And try to
That's a waste of good bandages.
not bring her down with it, but also bring her down with it, because I mean she is not a delicate creature, though she does have broken legs.
She is not interested in being handled, so make me a I corral unruly blackguard drakes check.
I will do that thing. How about a 22? Booyah!
Nice.
So what does Rhass finally say to her to get her to freaking stop?
In Draconic, which, God, I did not pull up my handy-dandy Draconic translator tonight. I am going to shout out, "Stop, you mutt!" And, kind of pull back, and I'm going to kind of bring her down as gently as she will allow me to, puzzled that broken legs isn't enough to stop her.
Well, they did end up using a scroll to heal her quite a bit, if you recall. So she stops and she looks at you forlornly.
Goose, we need to work on your control. And with that, I will every so often work with her on obeying commands during this trip.
She's not good at that. Just really not good at that.
But, we work on it.
So,
That's good.
what else is going on this morning?
I think we're pretty eager to get on the trail. I mean, we definitely want to put distance between us and they. So we're going to break away from the wall now that we're all shipshape, and it's faster anyway to go cross country. And we will head, following up on this lead we have of this witch that will give us some information about how to find this ancient artifact and perhaps how to get through the pass unseen.
Thank
Hey,
you.
how many potions of healing did we get?
Yelling Gwalian said that she would pack you a variety pack of potions. You each have 1 potion of healing.
Okay.
There are 3 potions of greater healing.
Okay.
And 3 potions whose labels you haven't looked at yet.
Did we?
Sure. I mean, I would spend while everyone else is off doing things. My plan was for the morning was to pull out all the equipment out of the bag of holding and inventory it, and so I will spend some time identifying the 3 potions.
Sure, they are labeled. One is a potion of water breathing, but it's
Okay.
a very large bottle, so it looks like it has multiple doses.
Okay.
One is a potion of heroism.
Hmm?
And there is a potion of growth, again, labeled for Rhass.
Okay.
I'll take a potion of growth. That sounds great. Never know when Roszilla will be needed again.
I wouldn't mind the potion of heroism.
I mean, currently I'm not going to hand them out. I'm just inventorying. So.
Okay. Well
Okay.
then, I
Well
will
then.
remove that from my list.
That
And
way, when we get killed by the Thans, they can be like, wow, look at all this cool loot we found.
And on the mage, so squishy.
They don't kill enemy mages. There's a whole bunch of outdoor gear. Just choose something reasonable and say you have it.
Sure.
If you want to actually make a list.
Sure. I will write down some stuff and tell you what it is later.
Man, this +3 greatsword's really good at setting up tents.
Yep.
So good. I mean, it's actually a +3 maul. You just really got to get into those pinions. So
Yeah.
And without this +3 full plate, my hands would chafe as we.
that's true. That's
as we
true.
climb. So thanks for this protective gear. Which
Are
was-
you listening to them, folks? Are you
No.
listening to these people?
It's required.
Are you listening to them?
You people make me sick.
You may not have anything magical. This is mundane equipment.
No, I would
only.
assume so.
Well, okay. Fur-lined hoods are good. All right, so we attempt to head towards Tamath Triboga at the mouth of the Shivar Pass.
As we give the wall a last tender kiss, promise it that I'll be back soon.
There'll be more dwarven walls coming up.
This
People
one isn't
there.
the dwarven wall.
No, when we meet the dwarves, they'll have dwarven walls.
Oh, gotcha. For our listeners, you may or may not know that in Aglarond, the big watch wall that goes between the Fortress of Glerndar and Umbergoth, which is the biggest mountain in the area, was actually put in place by Galabdur. It was raised magically by Galabdur and other stone elementals 1,000 or 1,500 years ago for one of the half-elven kings that ruled here prior to the Symbol and the Simbark Council.
The Gaelubdur thought that the marshes were attacking and making everything wet, so they made a wall to stop that.
I mean, that sounds like a Galabdur thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You leave the mountains behind, going into the foothills and then the plains of eastern Aglarond, and it's a peaceful journey of several days, unless y'all want to do something.
Well, when we are stopping for lunch one of the days, I'm going to take the opportunity to, during the short rest, form a bond with the magical sword that I was gifted as we were leaving the fortress.
Sure, Yellen Gwalian said that it had belonged to a friend of hers, and that she thinks that her friend would approve of you having it.
And I would have spent some of my downtime in the previous days cleaning it and such things. So now it's ready to go.
Yeah, it's definitely an elven blade, and it's actually made out of a greenish metal that is slightly lighter than steel normally is. And it's a beautiful blade. It's clearly quite old.
So I will start the Eldritch Knight bonding ritual.
Okay, and we're just in camp. Not actually in camp, but y'all have stopped for a day, sitting under a tree, eating sandwiches with your horses, right?
Yep, bags of holding mean we have pretty good grub.
Yes. All right, so as soon as the bond starts, something weird happens. All of a sudden, Victor, the world goes pitch black, as if someone had put a bag over your head or something. It's pitch black, except you can still see the sword that you're holding and trying to make an Eldritch Knight bond to. There's all sorts of motes and globes of colorful light start spinning around, and the sword starts to vibrate and hum, and you can hear a weird music in the background. It sounds elvenish, and the sword glows with bright, almost eye-searing light in this dark void. You can kind of tell you're not the only one here. There's a sense of a presence of something else.
That's a little scary.
You also notice, and you can just kind of like see it out of the corner of your eye, the side of Victor's face that's all scarred, where he's had like his teeth and part of his jaw, whatever, replaced with colorful stones. You can see them glowing, and you notice that the motes of light start trying, almost like coordinating with the glow coming from the side of your face. Almost as if it resonates or something.
I will attempt to, I guess while I'm in this between place, like reach out towards this other presence I feel. Do I get any response, or is it just like a sort of like a small noise in the distance?
Make me an I reach out to the presence I feel here check.
All right, I will make a insight check.
I would certainly buy insight.
I am, yes, completely discombobulated.
Yeah, it's too magical and kind of alien to really understand or ascribe humanoid reactions to.
So do I return to reality, or at least inside my head, or?
So what the rest of you see is Victor holds up the sword and starts looking at it. And as he does, bright scintilla of lights, bright even against the noonday summer sun, starts spinning around Victor, almost like a tornado or hurricane, and it becomes hard to see him, but you can see even brighter than those lights are the lights coming from the side of the face, where his odd stone teeth, or almost gem-like teeth, have begun to glow and sparkle in concert with the motions of the bright lights. The sword he's holding is glowing an intense, clean white light, almost to the point where you can't see the sword.
Is he doing his sailor transformation now? Normally there's a more dramatic time for such a change.
Is he He-Man? Should he be holding up and yelling, "I have the power"?
He's definitely not She-Ra, so...
I mean, maybe. You
This
never know.
happened-
Like, those costumes, you can never tell. I think he'd look great in a skirt, is all I'm saying.
I mean, he would look good in such a skirt. However, I do not think that he has what it takes to be She-Ra,
That's fair.
based
Do
on
you
what
think
the
it's-
legends have told me.
Like, does his face show, like, pain, or...
No, it's kind of an odd expression, as you might imagine. He looks like he's kind of concentrating on something.
Concentrating or constipated?
Hard to be sure.
Has his sword done this before?
So this is the first time he's bound with this specific sword.
I mean, he has done it with other swords. This is not his virginal coupling, as it were. But I do not believe I have ever seen such a reaction. Then again, normally he goes to his room and does it alone.
Well, that's true. Maybe this is just a normal way this works. I mean,
I'll finish feeding Goose a small rodent and kind of look up at Wildfire. Should we snap him out of it or something?
Sure, I get up and walk over to him and
Wait,
poke him in the
This
shoulder.
might be a private and delicate moment for him, though. Shouldn't we just avert our eyes and let him have it to himself and his sword?
Wouldn't he at least request that if this has done so before, or like gone around a tree or something? I mean, I don't just run it up in front
I
of
mean,
the
I'm also fine with setting up a tent around him if we want to.
Let's do
shield
that.
him.
Let's do
Okay.
that. Let's
So I
do
get
that.
a tent, one of the
A
many
hut.
two-person tents that are in the
Yeah.
bag of holding, and we
And
set it
just-
up around him.
Whew. And now let's all pretend we can't hear the noises.
Okay, good.
So-
it starts playing a jaunty tune.
My favorite.
Is that? Are you sure that is the best course of action? What if he is being harmed in some fashion?
Being harmed by what?
I mean, we would just be on our third CO. Like, this would not be
Yeah,
anything new
it's
if we
true.
lost one. And,
Lost
he's
the
kind of
magic
been a dick
sword.
recently, so I'm sure it's his best in his heart. But, he needs to work on his delivery a little bit.
I
I mean-
feel as though Baron would at least want us to make minimal effort not to lose yet another CO.
Well, I mean, we covered him, so he won't die from heat
What more?
exhaustion.
What more do you want?
I mean, what more can you ask
Like,
of us?
that is a great amount of exertion, at least on my part.
We've done the
If he-
bare minimum here.
If he was doing something dangerous, he would have told us. Amira is going to get up and sort of dance in a very awkward and terrible fashion that academics often do.
So, Paige, with that, I'm going to tell Goose, who we've been working on this command, to come to attention with a sit stay.
Make me an animal handling check.
How's a 14?
She nails the sit.
Okay.
The stay, not so much. She kind of does that thing where she scooches on her butt to try and get where she wants to be. So she's still technically sitting.
She just is still attached to my leg, though. It's very weird.
You're where the treats come from. Eh?
And I will peek into not makeshift tent, but the tent that we have now set up around our commanding officer. Victor, are you all right?
So when you open the tent flap, the blinding colors of light actually make you have to kind of squint your eyes. Victor doesn't reply.
Paige, I'm just imagining when I pull the flap of the tent back, it's like in those cartoons where just like there's a rave coming out of the tent, and then I close it and it's just totally fine.
I was expecting that, or when they open the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
That's good. That's good.
Wait, are you saying that the Aurora Borealis is in there at this time of year?
Isolated to your kitchen?
I'd like it to your kitchen.
Maybe that's where it goes.
Huh.
Mira will give Rhass a look that basically says, like, are we not respecting privacy? Is this how we are?
It seems like it's not normal. It's very bright.
He's having a private moment.
I mean, I've
heard
never
any-
seen him bond with one of his swords before. Maybe they all work like this. I mean,
No, you've probably seen him bond with swords before, because you've been adventuring with him since y'all were first level, and you're now 6th level. So, I'm willing to bet you've seen it before. It has never looked like this.
Okay,
I mean,
do we
usually
think
takes just
so?
a few minutes.
I'm gonna step into the brightly lit tent with my claw covering.
I rush over and shut the tent. I didn't want to see what's going to go on there.
Wildfire's such a dick.
And I'm going to reach out and kind of grab at Victor's shoulder to try and snap him out of whatever trance he is in.
I'm gonna end up weapon bonding Rhass, aren't I?
Oh man, how awesome would that be? You spend an action and summon him up and just whack people with him? Like,
Ooh, it'll be great though because I can just hold my sword out and you'll have 10-foot reach.
So when they're dead, we can probably nurse Goose back to health, right? But then I think we're gonna really have to find someone to take Goose off of our hands. Because I don't
You're
think we
talking
should
about
keep
when
traveling with this creature.
When they're dead, we can. It's a self-cleaning oven, right?
Oh, that's true. Just feed them back to Goose.
I mean, Goose will be fine with that, I think.
I mean,
Okay, that's all in favor. Say aye.
what better way to honor Rhass?
I look forward to this devolving into a campaign that involves Goose, Hewitt, and like some other like furry animals that we pick up along the way. It's gonna be great. There'll be a squirrel.
Ooh, squirrel.
Be a lot
Huge
more
big fan.
popular than these humans. These filthy humans.
So, so Rhass reaches out to touch Victor's shoulder, and all of a sudden the world goes completely black. You cannot see anything. Motes and scintilla of light spin around you in a dizzying fashion. And you can feel a great spiritual presence there. It doesn't say anything, but you get the feel of a push, and you are knocked out of the tent and back 15 feet away from it. Rolling ace over tea kettle.
There you go. There you go.
Does he make a noise when he's doing this?
Boss, you'll have to talk to Koda about that.
What happens to the sword? Like I go flying back? Oh. I thought you were saying Victor gets flown back. I was like,
No, Ross
that's weird.
touches him
Yeah.
and then is explosively hurled backwards. Not a hair on Victor's head moves.
So
You made the stone move.
Sure, I'm gonna do that cool thing where I come out of the roll on like one knee and hand back, head down,
Superhero pose.
damn
I feel like
straight.
you should make a roll to actually hit that
I was
pose.
about to say that feels like it needs a roll if you're trying to.
Yeah.
Fair.
Let's.
Performance is not Ross's apex skill.
How about
I would
an
take
acrobatic
acrobatics or
That is what we wanted. Thank you very much.
Perhaps it was more of like I landed on my face. Perhaps.
so
hard
like
to be
full,
sure.
Full
Hard to be sure.
scorpion, full scorpion.
No, actually, you were doing great. You had everything timed just right, except there's a tree in the way, so when you come up, you just bonk the back of your head on a tree and belly flop onto the dirt.
Paige, I walk back over to the tent and open the flap again. Is it still all shiny in there?
Oh, yeah.
I shut it. I go back to my bag of holding. I pull out a large stack of papers and begin leafing through them. Pull out the Lost Commander paper and begin filling it out. And I say, this time it's not our fault.
There was something in there with him. I could feel it. A spiritual presence unlike anything I have ever felt before.
So he's having a religious experience that you interrupted by invading his privacy.
Do we think perhaps we could get him to do this, more frequently? Perhaps there are quite a few dance halls in Valprintalar where if we were able to set this up for it to go all night, like we would be very popular and make a whole lot of coin. Let me just say.
I think so. I mean, maybe this is just our new gig, right? Like, we could make some money off of this.
He holds onto the sword and we just go do 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 do.
The system is down. The system is down.
I'm pretty sure music is covered under prestidigitation. Let me go verify.
Coda, you get an inspiration point. Ben, you get another inspiration point.
I will hand it to Ron.
It's only faint musical notes.
I actually started the session with the inspiration.
And I get the modifier because that way he can use it on his next death save.
Yep.
Oof, the shade.
Well, should we do something about this then? I mean, like, it's one thing Victor's having a special moment. It's another thing if that special moment is tossing Rhass kind of across the field.
Because he interrupted the special moment.
You mean do something other than laugh?
I mean, maybe just that. That's fine.
Paige, did I get this like a malevolent sense? Did I get a benevolent sense? Like, what is my reading on this great entity that I felt?
Make me an I read great entities roll.
Ooh.
I mean, you know what? I've been on a religious journey. I'm going to give you my religion check of -1. How about an 8?
You couldn't really. There was feeling there, but it was hard to categorize.
Whatever it was powerful. We should proceed with caution.
From over
I mean-
here, or like where are you talking about proceeding? I mean, I guess we could detect magic and see if it's some kind of like necromantic thing ripping his life essence away. But I mean, that would be pretty obvious by the time we get done spending the 10 minutes to cast the spell. I think.
I mean, I could like throw some fire at him. I guess that might wake him up.
Now that you
They were
violated his privacy, I'll have a peek inside. So Mira will go up and crack the tent open and peer at what's going on in there.
Again, you see Victor sitting, Indian style probably, Ron?
Yes. Seems appropriate.
With a sword across his lap and kind of a thoughtful look on his face and light just streaming and playing all around in brilliant colors.
And I'm going to, go back to my training and try to figure out if anything arcanistically is going on here.
Sure, make me an arcanistic roll.
And I will burn the point of inspiration
Ooh.
to do this more better. Oof, good thing too.
Okay, so you consider it from an arcana perspective, and you realize this is going to take a few minutes. This is not just look in and glance and then look back. You're going to have to sit here and study this for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
That's totally doable. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, please.
So you, there's plenty of room in the tent, so you can sit by Victor and just kind of hang out and consider him and reach out with your arcane senses, and you can feel. So the magic in Faerun is often called the weave, as in there's a weave of basically powerful ley lines invisibly surrounding everything, and magic pulls at those ley lines. So picture it like, you see the space-time continuum grid and a gravity well in it.
Damn.
And this is a huge, deep, endless gravity well sitting on top of Victor right now.
Do I think it's hurting him?
He seems fine. Like you do an arcane inspection of his personal aura, and he seems just fine. There's some sort of feedback between the sword and himself, but it's clearly not hurting him.
Okay, well, I'll take the full 10 minutes to sort of... That's what I get from the full 10 minutes, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Paige, I will have it known that during that 10 minutes, Rhass is going to, make his way back to the tent flap.
Don't touch him again.
I'm going to open it up and see that Mira is kind of like sitting there studying him. And I'm going to go take a seat next to Mira and kind of imitate her like I totally know what I'm doing.
At this point, Silvio realizes that fuck it and just goes in there and starts playing I detect magic song, so that maybe there's a school on this, and hopefully it's not necromancy, but past that, obviously it's fucking magic, but maybe I can get more of a clue by 4 of my head.
Yeah, obviously. Magic.
So, Coda, have Rhass make me some sort of, I'm sitting and figuring on this roll, like religion, arcana, something along those lines.
And Mira will reach over and touch him and go, give me your best opinion, and she'll offer him a bit of guidance.
All right. Well, since it's obviously to everyone that it is magic, I will make an arcane check this time. Again, it gives me what now?
A D4.
A D4. Ooh. And then, you know what?
And you can roll before or after the ability check.
I'm going to spend my inspiration.
Oh, we're just going all out.
Oh, that was animal handling, not what I wanted to roll.
You did great. Oh,
Also
jeez.
starts with A.
Oh, Coda.
I want the first one, please. And then
Yeah,
I'm gonna add
you
a
chose
D4 to that.
poorly.
Oh, okay. A
Ooh,
respectable 10.
Big roller here, big roller.
All right, Coda, you can definitely still feel that same presence in here. And after a moment of consideration, you get the impression it's feeling rather protective of Victor.
You don't say. Whatever it is protected our commander. That would imply that it doesn't want him hurt. At least by an outside source. Meaning it is either a benevolent presence in trying to aid him, or it is a malevolent presence that wants him all for himself. Itself.
I mean, I could just, like I said before, I could throw some fire at him.
So Silvio casts Detect Magic. I'm going to give you the sword is indeed magical.
I am shocked. I am so shocked right now. Like, I may need a minute alone to recover from this revelation.
It's surprisingly hard to get a minute alone.
Ron, you may have a point of inspiration.
Look, all I can say is that Wildfire and I tried to give you many moments alone in your own tents, and then to play music over it so that we didn't have to hear whatever was going on there. I mean, good for you, buddy. Everybody needs to let loose sometimes. But clearly, some people don't respect that. Do I get anything else, Paige?
Yes, you sense the School of Transmutation rather strongly.
There is some transmutation going on here, so it's quite possible he does not emerge as the same commander. In which case, if he starts giving us stand orders, we just kill the fuck out of him. But past that, probably good. Who knows?
Wildfire, I would like to point out that on the paperwork, you've already put "not our fault."
Yeah, not our fault.
Fire at him. It would be our fault.
That's a good point. I shouldn't do that, because it needs to be not our fault this time.
Over.
For the record, didn't you start the last two sets of We Lost Our CO paperwork with "It's not our fault"?
Neither of them were our fault!
Mira's going to look over the lights coming out of Victor's face and the. I mean, is there's sound or?
No, not really. You are you seated on the side where you can see the ruin of his face and the you can see that there's some sort of pulsation to the light where his teeth and the sword and the lights around them seem to be in some sort of concert.
You know who would be really excited about this light show? The Eladrin. I think they would really like it for their dance halls where they have their Eladrin dance music.
I mean, I was talking about taking the Valprintalar, but it could work if we went to where the elves are too. I mean,
We can go on tour, but we can hit a couple venues. I think this thing has enough juice to really get us going in a couple different places.
Hey, this is beginning to give me a headache. I'm going to. Mira makes her final notes and exits the tent.
Ooh, that's a good point. I go walk in there and I touch.
Oh God.
I touch the.
Oh
commander.
God. Why?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm gonna prepare to catch a flung wizard.
And like as soon as I drop in there, like at the instant I drop in there, I say, "Hey, are we gonna be here all day? Because I could be prepping a spell. I could be adding a spell to my spellbook if we're gonna be here all day. Give me like an hour, a couple hours. Give me a feeling here."
And as he does that, Sylvia is going to point out, the commander will push you away violently for a yes that we will be here for quite a while, or he will let you be if we are going to need to pack up very quickly.
All right, so you touch Victor's shoulder or whatever.
Yep. Mhm.
You two are flung violently away. You don't have the same kind of mass Rhass does. You fly even farther,
Wait,
tumbling to a stop on the grass.
do I not catch him?
I don't know. Make me an I catch a flying source or a wizard roll.
Sure, I'm gonna make that into an athletics check.
Yeah, no. Okay.
22 isn't enough to catch him.
No, I saw the 3 and thought that was yours.
That's
So
mine.
yes. As wildfire is flailing in the air, you manage to snag him before he goes into the tree that had arrested your exit as well.
Oof. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. Can I pat you on the shoulder? Can I get up, dust myself off? I think we're gonna be here for a while.
What was that? I will say, kind of breathlessly, as I've now run into this tree twice.
I got things to do if we're gonna be sitting here all day.
Sylvia will emerge from the tent and seal it up behind, since we're all out of it now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say, ah oui, things to do, like drinking. And at that point, we'll go and start drinking and messing around on his bandor, trying to come up with some new tunes.
Okay, so an hour later, no change. 2 hours later, no change.
I start setting up the other tents and like getting firewood and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, at some point, I'm going to start patrolling a little bit away from the camp just to make sure that we are not taken completely by surprise.
Hey, Rhass, should we go hunt, see if we can get something fresher than the piles and piles of sandwiches we have?
Goose and I will see what we can find, but if you would like to, you are welcome to join us.
Could you next time? Could you make sure that Goose isn't the one that stops the animals? The acid flavor, not my favorite.
We've been working on her fetch, but
Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
I suppose that wouldn't be a problem.
Or maybe like train her to not emit the acid. I don't know how acid dogs.
You know what? We will ask her not to, and see what we can come up with.
Like, politely. Yeah, it's probably fine.
And once we are a little far away, Sylvia will look at Rhass and be like, "So I know that you talk at her. Have you tried talking to her or with her?"
I mean, what do you mean?
Oh, all right. Here, chill out a minute. And Sylvia will bring his bandor around and will play a song of Speak with Animals on Rhass, so that instead of one-way communication, they can actually talk.
Ooh.
I'm in favor of this.
So,
It only lasts about 10-15 minutes, so don't get right in the middle of a big cliffhanger and then not do the clockwork, because that'll be a problem.
whatever you do, don't bark, 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 bark.
Yeah, that's the way it normally goes.
Basically, I'm looking forward to seeing this unfold.
So then, what do I do?
I mean, you should be able to understand literally everything you say, like I said, for the next 9 minutes or so.
I have said that thing out loud.
Goose looks up at you quizzically.
That is a look she has never given me before.
Well, you've never been able to speak my language before.
I kind of stare at her. So, what do I say to her, Victor?
What?
Speak your
Victor?
truth! Speak your truth!
Just talk to her. She's right there.
Hello, I guess.
Well, hello back. Goose looks at the lot of you and it's like, can you hear me? Like, she's saying this. Of course, none of you recognize this. I think he said something in my language, but then he's acting like he doesn't hear me and I'm very confused. She tilts her head.
He said that I should be able to talk with you for the next 10 minutes.
What's a minute?
A short period of time. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. I
Mira-
guess,
Mira's watching sort of just the body language here, and she lets out the longest sigh possible, and then begins to wave her hands around a little bit too, and also cast Speak with Animals.
Are you okay?
No, my back legs really hurt. And if I go too fast, I trip. And I don't like that at all.
We've been working on that. You don't seem to want to stop.
Yeah, because there's all these cool things to smell out here.
Mira will crouch down and say, if you take it easy for the next couple sunrises and sunsets, you'll probably heal a lot faster, and you'll feel better faster.
Huh. Goose tilts her head the other way as if this is not a thing she had ever considered.
If that wasn't enough, there would also be more rodents in it for you.
Her head like whips around, and she gets in your face with a very serious look, and says, "Bunny."
Among others, yes. We should be in prime hunting ground for them. Oh, speaking of which, that one over there, and I'll kind of nod over at Wildfire, would request that you drool less on the catch.
Wait, what? Like, why not? That's how you get it soft enough to eat.
For you, and me perhaps, but for that one, he wants it over the fire until it is unrecognizable.
Her nose wrinkles back in a expression of disgust. She looks at Wildfire very sadly, as if he is a poor, poor, mad thing to be pitied.
But we should talk about the commands that we are working on.
What's the command?
You know, when I say sit, and I will say that in Draconic, I don't know if that actually translates with the magic.
Mm-hmm.
It means that your ass should hit the ground where it is.
Oh, okay. What if I don't want to?
Then I will keep the bunny to myself.
But I could just go get bunnies on my own then?
But that would take your effort and energy when I've got them here for you.
Wait a minute, are you hoarding rabbits?
I mean, I have been keeping a number of small rodents and other mammals in a treat collective anytime that we are training Rhass.
Training goose.
Training Rhass,
Training
yeah.
goose.
We're also training Rhass.
They are, as it turns out, and this is convenient, also delicious Rhass treats.
I never doubted it for a moment.
Are
Not
we
for a
having the
moment.
foxes guard the henhouse of treats? Like,
Yes, pretty much. 2 for me, 1 for you.
Do you really ever doubt that either?
no,
It
it's more the
is.
realization.
It is something that I ask so that you remain safe and do not get hurt again.
Oh.
But
Oh.
also comes with delicious treats.
She thinks about that. You can just, like, the gears aren't turning fast, but you can tell they're turning.
I mean, same thing here.
Fair.
But
Entirely fair.
intelligence is really pulling its weight right now. We will continue to discuss a treatise of training, if you will.
Treatise?
Since
Inspiration, sir.
I can do it in her own tongue. Nope, Pidge, you're muted.
Nope. You continue to have a conversation with an intelligence 4-guard Drake. Which is probably hilarious, but not worthy of role-playing out all 10 minutes. So, so another couple of hours pass. Okay, so an amusing conversation is had between Rhass and Goose, with the understanding that Goose's intelligence is only a 4, and Ross's is, well, I guess significantly north of that, but not a whole lot. Yeah, okay, fine. Double.
Take that 4 and double it.
Mm-hmm.
Silvio, do you think you can teach me that incantation? I find it most helpful.
No, not at all, because I played through my music, and I have seen you attempt to do music and dance, and you would probably have a much better chance trying to work out some kind of mystical, scholastic, and Sylvia's Caprine eyes dart over towards Mira, and as he's searching for, like, what it is that she does...
What?
A thing. A mystical, scholastic thing. With magic, you know?
Perhaps
The
you
thing she
are
does.
right. Maybe Wildfire knows of some sort of incantation or rune that I can burn in order to make it happen.
What are you trying to make happen?
He wants
This
to be
whole-
talking bits with her more often. And
Oh, to learn this particular spell.
It shouldn't prove too difficult.
Your best plan is maybe, well, can you read a scroll?
If you show me the incantation, as well as the accoutrements that are needed, I think I might be able to piece something together. My elders have told me that magic runs within my blood.
You should probably see a physician about that.
So you're a sorcerer.
Is that like an insult among your people or something? It feels kind of insulty.
Among my people.
Yeah, your people. Giant lizards.
So
You people?
another couple of hours pass as this conversation goes on.
I kind of let off onto Wildfire and all of the other now unfortunate listeners about the definite place of prestige that being able to cast magic has among my clan, and that it is definitely something that should be honored, and I am totally 100% convinced about it.
Do you start crying in the middle of it? Just like...
And that is why they cannot be great warriors, but must lead our clan to victory.
I hand you a handkerchief.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's okay, buddy. Let it out.
Now, if you don't mind, Silvio and I need to hunt.
I mean, we do have sandwiches, you know.
And I've got all these sea grapes. I mean, they're delicious.
That's true.
And I start walking off. Silvio, come on.
I think you hurt his feelings.
Sylvia follows, because sandwiches are great. Not every meal.
So another couple of hours pass. The sun's disk starts to slide down the western horizon, and Victor is still there.
You know, normally, if he's been doing it this long, he needs to see a cleric. Also, he should usually start to be worried about lines.
I mean, I could try to remove cursing. Maybe he's cursed.
It seemed to work for the Griffins. I mean,
It is true. They say that if you experience a sword fixation longer than 4 hours, you should seek medical care.
Maybe if we just like wave a sandwich under his nose, he'll be so hungry that he'll just rouse himself.
oh, you are saying that he is hangry?
Ooh, yes.
Himself when he's
I
hungry?
mean, at this point, I would be if I was him, honestly.
So the disk of the sun finally slides all the way past the horizon. You still have the glorious sunset painting the western sky. But the minute it does, you're all immediately aware that something has changed. Like something around you has changed. And it becomes...
And that's what I call tiny hut, everyone. You can see the tiny hut there. It is now covering our good friend, our captain. That's tiny hut. That's what has changed. I did it.
I thought it was the universe telling me that the onions were done, but
Oh,
you know what? Could be
yes.
both. Could be both.
Is this a hut for ants?
No, it's tiny in comparison to like a house.
It's
Right,
got to
like-
be at least 3 times bigger than this.
I love your reference, sir.
Mira will look up and try to discern if something off is happening around her.
Yeah, so it doesn't take Mira, Wildfire, or Silvio long to realize that something has changed within the weave. Victor, like, you've literally just closed your eyes, it just went black, and then you open them again, and it's dark outside. Or at least dim. But thankfully that only took a minute. Maybe there's a cloud overhead or something.
Wow.
Oh no, the interior. No, it's dark where he is. It is.
I
it is
immediately
dark.
notice I'm in a tent, which is weird. I look around for the sword. Is it
It's still sitting in your lap, just doing sword things.
all right? I will attempt to summon it into my hand.
It pops into your hand, and it's not like it jumps off the floor into your hand. It like disappears off the floor and reappears in your hand.
All right. I will cautiously emerge from this mysterious tent that appeared around me in the last 3 seconds.
There's also a shimmering globe of energy
I am very
that
conscious
surrounds the tent.
of this globe of energy. I will poke at it with my sword.
You sure it goes through without any harm?
I will touch it with a finger.
Your finger goes through the dome like it isn't even there.
All right. Victor steels himself and walks through this mysterious energy force, fully expecting to be on a different plane of existence.
I mean, that's an entirely rational expectation. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, instead, the minute you step out, you smell the scent of a wildfire and roasting onions and grilling meat, and you probably see your companions around the fire somewhere.
I think Rhass, you did a better job. This has a lot less acid in it for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just a little acid to bring the flavor out.
No, the little acid is good, right? Like that vinegarness. It's really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like too much just ruins a meal.
How long did that take me?
Hours. Like all day.
8 hours? Longer? I
So-
learned how to cast that spell and then cast it around you while you were meditating.
And Mira's been crocheting like hats. And there's a couple of new hats.
I'm definitely wearing one of them.
Yeah.
Rhass is totally down for some crocheting. I knitted this new loincloth.
Ooh. I
Please
like
put
it.
it back on, Rhass. For God's sake.
Oh, right.
Point of inspiration, Joseph.
Well, Victor will go and sit by the fire. It only felt like a moment to me, although I have to say I feel more tired than I have ever experienced before after doing the bonding ritual.
Did you manage to wrestle whatever great entity that was into submission?
I think no. I did feel like this sword. I don't know if it's if it was made for Eldritch Knights or if there's a great spirit living inside of it. I guess you guys probably poked at me a lot while I was unconscious.
Just a couple times.
Okay.
The tree that's behind us kind of creaks a little bit from all the cracks in it.
Well, I guess if there's an entity inside the sword, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I did bond with it properly, so I guess it's not opposed to fighting for Aglarond. I mean, hopefully it's benign.
I mean, wasn't it used by a fellow soldier of Aglarond before? Like,
yes.
What?
Supposedly it's got a pedigree of fighting on our side, whatever that means. My mouth hurts. I don't know what it is. And he puts his hand up to his scar where he literally can reach through and feel his teeth through where normal people have a cheek in just a couple spots. That's weird. I must have ground my teeth or something. Did you guys notice anything while I was out?
Your teeth were kind of glowy. Stu,
Yeah.
These teeth. I mean, I think I've told you all, but I was out with my first squad and we got ambushed. I know something big hit me, and when I woke up, I had these teeth. Apparently, some passing healer had fixed my face with them.
he didn't do a great job. I'm just saying.
Well, they're not great as replacement teeth, but I had never been great at magic before, and ever since I woke up with these crystals in my mouth, it's just come naturally to me, and I guess I just was taking it for granted. And
Wait, you were taking your new stone teeth for granite?
yes, exactly.
I don't
More inspiration.
So I mean, I was glad to finally have a greater touch with magic that many Aglarondians have. But maybe they also were part of the reason why it took so long for me to bond the sword. Maybe I don't know. I'd really like to find out who put them in my mouth and why. Because they can be removed, but when they went to remove them, it was immediately clear that I could feel my connection with them. Like I would lose my magic, the magic that they were granting me, and I would still just have a hole in my face where they were. So getting them taken out is, not the best choice. And I like that I can, that I'm a stronger fighter, that I have all these cool powers that I didn't have before, that I'm unlocking over time. But I would like, have any of you ever heard of anyone using crystals in this way to heal people? I mean, have you met anyone with like a crystal hand or a crystal kidney or something?
I do not know any amateur or professional mad wizard dentists that run around replacing people's teeth with gems that contain the essence of the leaf. No. Sorry, all out. Don't know any of those.
All right.
Mira, ever heard of anything like that?
Make some checks. Just if you're using a skill that seems a little weird, you'll need to justify it.
I mean, my master certainly told me the power that certain crystals can have. I mean, it's not unusual for something like that to be uniquely powerful.
Our legends speak of crystals that would levitate themselves around a user's being. Perhaps it is something like that.
Those are just Ioun stones.
I'm trying to think if anyone has actually done crystal dentistry before. I think I've seen something about people mining crystals to try and use to treat people, but I never really knew if that was effective or not.
So what you do recall, Mira, is the legend of Hafnir Stonehand, who was a dwarven warrior of great importance a while back. and reputedly, she had lost one of her hands in an accident at the forge and had it replaced with a crystal hand.
Oh yeah. Well, there's Hafnir stone hands,
Stone hand.
stone hand,
Hmm.
stone hand. But of course, that's really more of a legend, more of an anecdote, more of an N of one kind of situation. I wouldn't put too much stock into that. This is, and she kind of peers it and reaches out and actually grabs Victor's face to sort of eyeball the implants. This is unusual.
With that medicine check, you can also tell that they replaced his teeth with a precision that is not achievable without magic.
Let me tell you, you had a really great dentist. This is great work.
You know who else might know things about this, though? The dwarves. They're all about, let's use magic rocks for weird shits. Like,
That's true. And you did say that there was at least a legend of a dwarf that had a crystal prosthesis.
There are many spells that use crystals as focusing agents or as control agents, right? Like most golems tend to be controlled by a crystal devices. So,
Wildfire, you also, when you reach out with your arcane senses to kind of feel around Victor's aura and whatever, you get a magical magical signature from his teeth that exactly matches the one from the sword.
That's interesting. The sword and your teeth seem to have a similar magical trace.
Like,
That is strange.
were both created by the same person?
Perhaps I didn't pay particular attention to the sword beforehand. Perhaps the sword is now somehow matching you in some way.
Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, it does feel different than my previous sword bonds, even in training when I have bonded with magical swords before, just to get the hang of it. Nothing like this ever happened before. I mean, I guess it's a boon. I don't know. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I would like to get to the bottom of this now that's affecting my life more than just, allowing me to successfully cast a few cantrips. I don't want to, I mean, worst case scenario, these crystals will control me like a golem and I'll betray you at some point.
Wait,
We're
what?
prepared for that eventuality.
we even filled out the paperwork because we were not sure what was going to happen at the far side of this, so we just didn't date or sign it yet. Or wouldn't necessarily.
Actually, if you could sign right here indicating that this wasn't our fault, I think that might really go a long way to kind of recovering our identity as a group.
Let me have my lawyer take a look at that.
And then you can consent to whatever treatment that we render unto you, and that we can bill your insurance.
Yes.
It just gives us simple power of attorney. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we should speak to the dwarves about it as we pass through that way, and then after we have done whatever this business is in the sands, then perhaps we start looking for, magical dentists. I would be happy to help you, my friend, once our obligation to Aglarond is complete.
I appreciate that. And the one nice thing is, it's pretty obvious what was done to me. So if someone that's familiar with it sees me, they might come up to me and say, "Hey, you got the same thing my cousin got, just in purple."
I like your smile.
Maybe that'll be the lead that I need.
Is it just functionally Invisaligners is what it is.
Ooh,
What you're saying.
magical Invisalign.
I mean, Invisaligners are pretty great.
There you go.
You got it at a great price, Victor.
Yeah, all he had to pay for it was getting mashed in the face by a maul and ruining his jaw and face forever.
It's part of it's part of the whole procedure, really.
You say forever, like we won't eventually have access to 7th level spells in regeneration.
Right. It'll be great.
Okay.
I mean, Wildfire won't, but we will.
Oh yes, we.
Anyways.
So I guess Victor's looking forward to a quiet night. It might be somewhat out of character, but he actually doesn't insist we get moving immediately or anything like that. He just kind of sits by the fire and eats a sandwich.
Oh, sure. Now things aren't urgent anymore.
mean, if he does that, I definitely scoot next to Mira and Silvio and Wildfire and so when are we going to jump the captain and kill him for his being possessed?
We got to get his signature on this paper first.
Damn it. Why didn't we have him sign that weeks ago?
I don't know what I was thinking. It would have been everything so much easier.
That's an oversight for sure.
Having this great venison stew with these, locally found mushrooms and onions, and squash, and sandwich, and we're all just like...
I mean, we can all agree that he's being possessed by his jaw now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I think it's clear his jaw doesn't like stew, which is crazy because his stew is amazing.
You can have soup and sandwich together. It's a classic combination.
I think I've heard of the jaw of Vecna.
Man,
Thank you, chat.
Vecna is just renting out all of her body parts.
Vecna runs a vast medical device empire.
This makes me want to make a cyberpunk character or a Shadowrun character that's a street doc named Vecna.
That'd be hilarious.
The spleen of Vecna.
Just watch his players come up, make a face, and then leave.
I'm sure you're going to say it has a vast chop shop of various body parts. Not medical enterprise, but they're basically two sides of the same coin, right?
Kurgosh also raises a terrible possibility here, which is that all this dental work is courtesy of the Cambion.
Damn, those outsiders playing the long con here.
First, I disguise myself as a dental device. Then I get implanted.
Nice.
Until we get our second loyalty card before he reveals.
Right?
Ooh, deep cut.
All right.
Well, shall we establish watch for the evening?
Yep.
Indeed.
Maybe we should suggest that he should rest the whole time.
That's probably best.
Really exhausted.
All right.
We're all-
The night passes uneventfully. Victor is assailed by a lot of really weird dreams that he doesn't quite remember when he wakes up.
Hey, Paige, I have a quick question before we let night pass. So, Goose is still having trouble moving around. Is that something that magic can help with, or is it just time?
It's just time at this point.
Alrighty, sounds good to me. Then I go the fuck to sleep.
But that was definitely one of the things we've discussed is hey, she needs to kibosh the whole trying to get up and move. So hopefully by the time we get to the Dwarven Kingdoms, she will be more or less over the worst of her injuries.
When he says kingdom,
Definitely.
is it a kingdom or is it a queendom?
Make me I know shit about the dwarven cultural structure in the area roll.
I wander over to Mira.
Hey,
Bonsoir.
do better.
You're the best. I was going to also ask, have you been up and up on dwarven politics? Because I just realized we have, decided to attach our, our hitch to this, and I don't actually remember if it's a king or a queen that's in charge right now.
I've spent some time in that area. I think it was a...
Is your history better than 3?
No.
Great. I'll take it back then.
And I lay a reassuring hand on your shoulder for an extra D4, should you need it.
All right. Well, I will take a 17 plus a D4.
Wildfire casually.
Casually
I look over and answer their question.
Stop! God, you're not playing Joe!
Andrew, inspiration, sir. Yeah, so Wildfire... the answer is it's a queendom, but it's complicated.
How is it complicated?
Well, it's complicated because the woman who was in line for the throne decided instead to have a power sharing agreement with her younger sister. And so these two sisters are basically co-queens.
I mean, it's functioning opposite of sister, right? There's one sister who is the queen who is sharing power with her other sister. It's been that way for 10 years now.
These are the older Tam queens, aren't they?
Yes. You've heard the song, right?
They're not exactly twins, but yeah.
Are you sure? I thought they were Tia and Tamara.
Right. You
No,
heard the song, though, right? You know,
Wildfire, you recall that their names are Brangian and Freya.
It's not nearly as exciting.
Brangian
Brandy and
is,
Freya, I think, are perhaps their names.
yeah, Brangian is the
correctly.
older sister and Freya is the younger sister.
Well, we probably should make sure we call them by the right names, because if Brangie is the current queen and we ask Freya for a boon, she might get a little miffed with us.
Hmm.
Maybe
Well, they're co-queening.
like they both are on the throne at the same time, or one goes adventures for a while? No, at the same time.
Well, so Wildfire would recall that both of them have left the mountains of Aglaron to adventure for quite a bit, and they are relatively seasoned adventurers, but they're in kind of the latter third of their life, kind of the late end of middle age or the beginning of old age, and they're at home much more often now.
They really just split duties, right? Like one of them will handle this week, and one will handle this week, and you know, you really want Brangian to be the one who's ruling over you, who's making judgment decisions. She's much fairer, honestly. Brangian, definitely the way to go.
With a 22, you recall that Brangian is a paladin, and
See what I'm saying?
and her sister is sort of the wild child.
Freya, right? Or
Freya, yeah.
Freya. But if you want a party, Freya's the place to be.
I think perhaps we could maybe better persuade Freya, but I don't know. Perhaps we can see.
Yeah, like Ross falls asleep during all of this politic talks. This is Roborn stuff. For him, at least. He's just not interested. Definitely the Dwarven Kingdoms or something.
Joe, you recall that Freya is a wizard.
Ah, excellent.
Yes.
It's really the best kind of people, ultimately.
So do we get through this night safely?
Absolutely. Aglaron's a beautiful place and very safe.
So after taking a possession break, we'll continue through the plains.
Okay, as you travel, you see Umbergoth, the biggest mountain in Aglaron, rising up on your right as you head kind of north-ish in that direction. And it's a big honkin' mountain, so that even in the summer, the highest peaks have snow on them. But down at your elevation, it is rather lovely. There are flowers blooming, and the heat of summer is pleasant upon you. Without too much trouble, you follow the path, and you get to follow Perrin's directions. And ahead of you, you see just alone out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, a curious little house. It looks about like what Perrin told you the Rishemi witch lived in.
Please no chicken legs, please no chicken legs, please no chicken legs, please no chicken legs.
You do
They're
not
underground.
You do not see any chicken legs.
Oh, that's good. I like not seeing chicken legs.
So they pop out.
Right, but I like not seeing them right now. Right?
Right.
Like if they pop out later, I mean that's later. Right? Let's not worry about it then.
Are you saying this is a future wildfire problem?
Exactly. I walk up and knock on the door.
Silvio walks up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's got stairs on the front, and you walk up. There's all kinds of like herbs drying on strings on the front porch. You knock on the door, and a little window, little slide to the side window in the door opens, and a brown and white owl looks out the hole rather curiously and goes, "Whoo!"
We are foresters of Aglarond, wandering through and wanted to speak with the owner of the home.
Whoo!
I am Sulio Donatu, and this is my companion Wildfire, and there are 3 others among us that are not quite at the door.
The slidey thing slides shut.
I will hang back a little bit just to make sure we're not ambushed from behind by anything.
You're so suspicious. My feelings are hurt.
You've taught us well, Paige. You've
I
taught us
just don't
well.
know what you are talking about.
I'll go up in the general area of the door.
All right, in just a couple of moments, the door opens and a wait, hang on, what did I do?
The door has a hit point now. Attack it!
No. There we go.
I was afraid it was going to transmute it into a jar.
Ooh,
That'd be a problem.
that'd be weird.
Oh, hang on.
I mean, I hope.
Role play for a minute. My map is doing something funny.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'll give you a topic. So I will have Hewitt to kind of fly around and kind of get a feel for the terrain to also make sure that we don't get ambushed, because that would be problematic.
Do you think perhaps I should have cast Speak with Animals before I spoke to the owl? Normally when it says who, I presume that it's actually asking who, but that might have been a stretch.
No, that felt like the right response. I mean, like if you're gonna send your familiar to go talk to someone, right? Like you just explain the entire situation. That really you can't ask for more than that. I think it was the right approach.
I would like to point out that it does seem a bit odd that you would assume that an owl asking who is asking who you are.
I mean,
That does not seem normal.
I am walking around with a man that is on fire, a man that has large chunks of his face replaced by rocks, and a giant walking lizard, and a very intelligent and smart and clever researcher that seems totally normal compared to the rest of us. So I don't know what you expect from me.
Fiona lands on your shoulder and then kind of looks you in the eyes and goes, "Whoo," and it flies away.
With that, I know it's not asking me actual who. But
Right!
You
You can tell. You can tell.
Except you said Fiona
You
rather
did
than
definitely
Did I say Fiona? I did. You're right. I meant Hewitt.
I was trying really hard not to say, like, I have this past life experience with owls. Where But back to in character. So just to remind, while the door is closed and not suddenly open with someone appearing at it, we are here to ask about where the artifact is in the Singing Sands, right? And this witch is supposed to help us find it?
Yes, and navigate the Singing Sands so that we don't, die.
Right.
Okay.
Don't wander it for 40 days and 40 nights. So.
We could also ask if she had any advice about the dwarf situations, but the artifact is definitely the main question.
All right.
And if we're asking, we might as well also ask her if she knows any stone-based dentists.
That, yes, I would appreciate that.
Well, I am quite sure that the door has already opened.
Yes.
Bonjour.
The door opens and a woman dressed in robes comes to the door. She's got the same brown and white owl on her wrist. And she says, "Greetings, foresters. I did not expect any foresters here. How may I help you?"
Hello, I was to introduce ourselves to begin with. I am Silvio. This is my companion Wildfire, our Capitan Victor, and then back there, the giant lizard is known as Rhass, and then there is also Mira.
Dr. Mira.
And 1,000 apologies, Dr. Mira.
Dr. Mira Kuroshio.
Oui. Anyways, we found ourselves given direction that perhaps you might be someone of great wisdom that might be able to help us find something. And if not, then we apologize for disturbing you and your inquisitive owl.
She looks at you rather curiously and kind of looks back the trail where you must have come from. And she says, "Who sent you to me? There's not many folks I trust around here."
Perrin sent us, actually.
When you say that, her demeanor changes and you see her sort of relax. "Ah, yes. Please come in. Please come in." And she invites you into a small cabin that it looks very pedestrian. It's got,
Chicken legs?
it's got a loom in one corner. And, a small kitchen. There's a cot on the side. It's just very, very simple stuff.
The chicken legs are in the basement. We wouldn't see them on the first floor, obviously.
Obviously. And she has you in and it gestures for someone to look at a closet and pull down some chairs.
I will pull down the chairs.
Once she has everybody seated, she makes some tea. It's some kind of herbal flavor that's quite pleasant and hard to place. And she says, "So, my dear friend Perrin sent you. How is he?"
Not dead anymore.
Yes.
Her eyes go wide with shock. What?
The Citadel was attacked by a number of Thayan, thank you, Lord. Thayan agents.
And their demonic allies.
Even with your purely pitiful insights, Wildfire and Victor, you can sense the anger that plays across her face. She says, "Well, I suppose Perrin makes his own choices. I'm glad to hear he's well. Why did he send you to me?"
Xavier34, thank you for the subscribe. Very appreciated.
Ooh, who's that? Who's that?
What?
Yes.
Xavier34, hang on. Let's play the celebration music. Yes.
Y'all are in for a treat. You brought this upon yourselves.
You should definitely turn this one up, Paige.
Is it turned up?
No, you should turn it up more. Like this one should be a little...
Yay! Thank you for subscribing!
It's funny because that's my brother. So he's basically
Thank you, Xavier!
Thank you!
Thank you.
Okay, back to the
He
series.
got you to dance. He got you to dance, Ron.
May or may not be filled with regret.
Worth it.
Okay, where were we? Yes. Why did he send you to me?
We need to head into the Shifting Sands. There is an artifact of there that we believe the Thayans are searching for, and we want to get it first.
They care about it dearly. They'll not only kill for it, but they'll also use magic to permanently kill whoever they kill. Wildfire can explain it better.
Yeah, they were preparing to use some magics that would stop an individual from being able to be raised from the dead in an effort to make
night.
in an effort to make sure that we did not learn what we've already learned. Sadly, the individual, the tiefling who shared us with this information, did not make it through the fight, but we think we have enough information to go on. But we do need some assistance. None of us are particularly familiar with the desert, and any assistance you could provide to us would be greatly appreciated, and would be a great help to all of Aglaron.
When I left Rashomon coming to Aglarond, I actually came through Singing Sands and made various friends there. I cannot speak of them, but the artifact, can you tell me more about it? It is true, I have enough magic where I could perhaps assist you in locating it. Singing Sands is large. But I must have more information than that.
We did not know much of it ourselves.
We had a note describing it, but I think it's been cleaned too many times.
Well, so it was an old elven artifact. I believe it was kept by King Elthrond, if I remember correctly.
From a long time ago, then.
Something to do with the Shadowfell. He didn't. Sadly, the tiefling who had this information had it kind of secondhand. But he was for some reason, the Zolkir of Conjuration was very interested in it.
Another flash of anger lowers her brows. She says, whatever they want, they must not have. If it was one of old King Elthon's artifacts, it wasn't at all connected with the Shadowfell, no. So I don't know how that is pertinent. It might have been one of the items that connected him to the Feywild. One of the things that Aglarond is protected by is various ancient elven magics that knit our land to the Feywild.
We have encountered them before.
Yeah, I think Garnot said that it somehow kept the power of the elves, so maybe that is the connection.
When you say that, Rhass, she stands up and goes over to look at you, and she leans in rather close, kind of getting her face into yours, and she takes a long moment to sort of look at you very discerningly.
So someone take a moment to sip his tea and watch.
I mean, he'll sit still. I mean, he is. I mean, he is nothing if not respectful to the elders who are magic casters. He's been trained well.
She looks at Rhass real close and says, Yes, I see you have contacted the Feywild.
It has claimed one of our former commanders' lives.
That is how the Feywild works. It is not inimical, perhaps, but it is very different from us and operates with its own wants and needs, and if there is trouble on the prime material or for mortals like us, residents of the Feywild mostly just don't care. But you have been marked by it. I can sense the mark of Fey power upon you.
Marked in what way?
Well, it seems like it's part of a path. Let me ask you this. Rhetorically, where do you think this path ends?
At the Burning Sands?
No.
Singing Sands?
Hey!
No, I'm not talking about the location of your journey, of your trip. I'm talking about your journey.
I still want the singing. I mean, I am Looking for something, yes, but my journey is on delay until my service is rendered no longer necessary, or 1 year's time has elapsed.
Your journey is never paused. Never paused. And the things that guide that journey never pause as well. Think about where you want your journey to end, because if you don't know that, you can't possibly get there. Well, I'm sure you will find your own teachers in your own time, I suppose.
Victor, did you know that Rhass was leaving in like 6 months based on that?
Hopefully he's not leaving us as in dying.
So, I could perhaps build something that would seek kinship with anything of great elven power in the Singing Sands. It would have a somewhat limited range, but I am sorry, I cannot get the materials for it.
What do you need for it?
Well, I
mean, Rhass is a capable individual. I'm sure he can get whatever materials you require.
Mm-hmm. Is it some sort of beast innards? Rhass has a surprising store of beast innards.
Or perhaps a wide variety of loincloths that are required for the ritual. We already have that set.
Making more all the time.
I my backpack that contains both my beast innard and loincloth collection. A single tier.
Oh
No,
God, Rhass, please put that away. Put that away. Oh, back in the bag.
I need water from the Tarcellus fountain, and the path for that has been blocked for a while. And I hear that even the fountain itself is... well, the last person I know that tried to go there never came back.
Paige, have I heard of this Tarcellus fountain?
Do you roll things other than 22, friend? Because, like...
I'm cool with it.
Or do I know of this Tarcellus fountain?
Do I know this Tarcellus fountain? Is it
I know this Tarcellus fountain?
To be fair, they were different back-end rolls. I mean,
Do you guys see the sass that I get? Do you see this?
The completely well-deserved sass? Yes. On screen for everyone to see.
Victor, with your 9 athletics, you do not gain any information about the Tarcellus fountain.
I thought maybe people would, carry the water as part of a strengthening ritual.
It's entirely true. That could have been it, but it's not.
Or the water had been banned as an illegal substance in competitions.
Sure. All right. So we've got some different roles going on. Sylvia, Tarcellus is the elven deity of streams, lakes, and rivers.
Ooh.
And any fountain sacred to them is likely to be a place of great power. Wildfire, you realize there's an element of sympathetic magic here. Whatever she needs to empower this thing has to be at least somewhat related to the thing she's trying to find.
Sure.
So her technique and theory seem sound. The building of devices to track stuff down like that is just not the kind of magic you studied, but it's certainly something that can be done.
Okay.
Mira, Tarcellus, is one of the minor gods of the Seldarine, the elven gods. And historically, they have been a patron of the wild areas. And so while they are not... they're not a deity that believes in safety. They believe that the wild areas should remain wild. And I think we're going to have to wait till next week to learn more about the Tarcellus fountain. Because in the meantime, we have a giveaway to give away.
All right, so we've gotten a number of entries here. I'm going to see if Moobot. Let's find out how Moobot works together, shall we? I'm gonna push this button. All right. So, do I now announce this? How do I announce it? All right. So, according to Moobot, our giveaway winner is Dangoyet. Let's see. It's that one. Thing. No.
Yes. No, it worked. You did it
Yay!
twice. Oh god.
Yay! All right, so Dan Goyette, you have won a free copy of the newest adventure I have written, which just came out on the DM's Guild today. I'm very helpfully looking at your text as if you could see me. Should look at the camera. Anyhow, it just came out today. In order for me to send you this adventure, I need to have an email address where the DM's Guild can send it to you. So if you would either send your email address to our Twitter account or to featsandfables@gmail.com, I'll see that you get your adventure.
Don't ask me to spell it for you.
No, you definitely do not ask Coda to spell it for you.
TSAFABLES. That's GM.
Just stop. Just stop. All right. Well, that ends our show today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this adventure. Why do I not have music? Okay, there it goes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this particular adventure. Please, if you can, follow, subscribe on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, support us on Patreon, at least like us on iTunes. You can find us at Feats and Fables on each of these platforms. Roll20 is our virtual tabletop. Our music is by Kevin MacLeod at Incomtech.com, as served by Roll20. The music be licensed under Creative Commons 3.0 by attribution. We would like to thank our listeners and supporters, particularly... Coda has the list.
Yeah, we've got our newest subscriber, everybody, Max Xavier. As
Max
you
Xavier!
on stream here with our crazy awesome dances. Please be sure to hit that follow, and you too can get a dance of your very own.
Oh,
Just
God,
like
we're
Old So
promising
Tiger
dances
did.
now.
Thank you, Old So Tiger. We've also got Kurgosh, Dangoyet, Max Xavier, just to name a few. Everybody in chat tonight, thank you so much for joining us.
So, please join us again next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to learn more about the Fountain of Tarselius. And follow us to adventure!
Wait,
We also
perhaps.
Old Slow Tiger a dance now.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
do.
Let me get
Yep.
some music on.
Put the music on. Dance, monkeys, dance.
We gotta end this with a dance.
Yes.
There we go.
Is there also any other time in the future when they might be able to watch us, Paige?
Oh, yeah! One more thing. We're doing a special Halloween show where everybody is playing bad guys. Join us from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon on Halloween!
You know, like Victor.
What do you mean? Everybody's bad guys. We got a werewolf, we got a zombie, we got a mummy, rather, we got a mind flayer, we got a...
Morally ambiguous.
Alright, see you folks.
Bye.